Today on Joe's Geek Show, we're talking about Darkhawk, issue number 1. What's going on and welcome to Joe's Geek Show, the video series where we talk comics. And before we get started, if you're new and like to support the channel, you can do so by hitting that like button, clicking that subscribe button, and sharing. And with that, Kyle Higgins is now the writer of Darkhawk. Okay, I cannot wait to dive into this one. Written by Kyle Higgins with art by Juan Ramirez, colors by Eric Arciniega, and letters by VC's Travis Lanham. And this story begins at Woodland High School Gymnasium, where we're introduced to our main character, Connor Young, a basketball superstar who leads his team to victory. However, soon after the game, it's clear something is wrong with Connor through the visualization of him and his surroundings bending and contorting, almost like a funhouse mirror. It's then his teammate and friend Derek slaps him on the back of the head, which seems to make Connor lucid once more. They then begin to head home when they notice police cars, as it's revealed a robbery recently was perpetrated by 3 individuals, when Connor and Derek run into 3 guys, one of which Connor seems to know. The next morning, Connor's dad is watching his son's game highlights and informs him he needs to make a video for social media. Connor's dad notices that he's off a bit and asks if he's okay, to which Connor says yes and heads out on a run. But then during this time, Connor's body once again goes wonky and he ends up falling and hitting his head on a curb. Quickly following this, Connor finds himself in the hospital where, after a brief medical examination, it's discovered that Connor has MS, and once his coach is informed, Connor is sadly forced to sit out his next basketball game. Distraught, Connor heads out to the docks and starts recording a video for his dad when an explosion occurs, temporarily knocking him off his feet. When he sees a worker in trouble, his body is suddenly covered in a suit and rescues the man. Then another explosion occurs and Connor heads to check it out, where he encounters 3 armed individuals. A fight breaks out, but Connor easily overpowers them, but also allows them to escape. The book begins to wrap up with Connor returning home and the reader discovering that the criminals were not only the 3 from earlier, but also Connor's friend Derek. And I don't think this book could have gotten any more cliche. I mean, pick your poison: unpopular kid who gets bullied gets superpowers, or kid who's like a superstar athlete is on his way to the top in college until something happens and all of his plans come crashing down, and then he gets superpowers. With this book's case being the latter. And the more I read this book, the more it really felt like a checkbox of cliches. You even have the bad guy who's a mirror image for our protagonist, and his best friend, of course, is somehow mixed up in the bunch. And sometimes it was really hard to tell if the story knows that it's being as cliche as it is, because there are definitely certain instances where I feel like it is a bit self-aware, such as when Connor and Derek heard that there was a robbery that was perpetrated by exactly 3 guys, and then they run into exactly 3 guys who are being extremely ominous. Don't go that way, there's police, they're gonna ask you about a robbery, and you don't need to go that way. No any real attempt at misdirection. I feel like the book really does want you to know that these are our bad guys for at least this story arc. It really got to the point that with each new reveal, I was just like, yeah, of course, we have to throw that in. Also, I wonder why Connor even let them go. I mean, he had him on the ropes, they shot him, he got back up, they posed no real threat to him. I mean, they just ran and he was like, yeah, okay. I honestly don't think this book could have been any more paint by numbers, which is a real shame because I typically like Kyle Higgins' work. Like when he started back with Boom Studios on Power Rangers, I really love that work. When I recently read his Ultraman stories, I really like his Ultraman stories. So when I saw his name on this book, I was straight up intrigued and interested. But as it stands at the end of this particular issue, the only real 2 things that I find the most interesting are how Connor got his Darkhawk powers and why his dad is insistent on him making vlogs. The only thing I can really think of is he makes money on those vlogs and helps pay the bills because, oh yeah, another cliche, his family's poor. When it comes to the art, it's fairly decent. There's some good shots of Connor as Darkhawk. The visualization of his body locking up due to his MS is visually interesting. Though there were a couple times in the book where I was like, why did you make that decision? Like when we meet our 3 bad guys, well, 3 of 4, for the first time, and you got the main guy standing in the middle, and then his other 2 sort of right next to him, kind of in the back guys are standing there, and they're eyes look closed. It almost felt like I was looking at Brock from Pokemon if he hit the gym a lot. So a bunch of cliches that makes the plot fairly predictable with some okay art. I'm gonna score Darkhawk issue number 1 a 5 out of 10. I usually love you, Kyle, but this wasn't it. So Darkhawk issue number 1, what did you think about this book? If you've read it, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. And if you liked this video, I'd love it if you'd smash that like button, share it with some friends, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and ring that notification bell for more comic book content. And if you're wondering what to watch next, consider one of these 2 videos. Alright, take care, have a great day, and as always, stay geeky.